the Bears. Speaking of the Bears.
I'm trying to think what the play is here. I would have really liked safety, but all three, kind of the top three safeties are gone, and so there's not another one I feel comfortable taking here.
They lost both. But
Yeah.
remember we talked about it in the offseason. Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard both walked.
Who even is safety for? Like, I'm trying to think.
They
I feel like there's a
signed
pretty-
Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks,
Gotcha.
so
That-
they have
yeah, that's
one
true.
safety.
I feel like there's just a pretty clear three safeties and a steep drop off after. Let's see what
safety
PFF has.
for
AJ Halsey.
That's right.
According to PFF, but he's not sniffing the first round.
Michael Taft's sitting there at 170.
Horns down. My
I beat
goodness,
him in a
what a
basketball
bozo!
game.
What a bozo! So I'm looking defensive line here, and now I'm just trying to think: do I go my guy? Do I send my guy to Chicago to team up with another Aggie in Shamar Turner, or do I look elsewhere? Do I go Keldrick Falk? Who is edge rusher one for Chicago? Do they really have like a
Montez Sweat,
Yeah.
state legend. But I have defensive line as a huge need, along with linebacker and safety. Defense is the need.
Wait, who are you pairing with him? Oh, Shamar. Yeah, Shamar Turner.
Yeah, that's Shamar Turner doesn't really like he has not really worked out.
Yeah, he's
far.
listed as third on the depth
Yes.
chart.
Yeah, that was just a kind of a Josh. I'm gonna go Cassius Howell.
I love it.
I think there's pass rush upside there. I'm not ecstatic about it. I've been well voiced on my Cassius Howell concerns and kind of the fact that he's gonna struggle to find an avenue to be an every down edge rusher in the league. But also, like, I don't like Keldrick Falk either, and I don't love like a couple of the other options in this range. I feel like at this point,
I love Keldrick Falk.
any edge rusher you take has some sort of. They still have some sort of upside or some value. Keldrick Falk's value, for example, is he's really good at setting the edge in the run game. Cassius Howell's kind of the opposite. He isn't great at that, but man, he can get after the quarterback. He has T-Rex arms, so maybe he slides. But it's like everyone has something good, but also at this point they've started to not be as well-rounded of prospects. So I'm gonna go Cassius Howell.
We're picking at 25 at this
Correct.
point, so now we're not looking at truly polished prospects. So you need a guy who can do something for you, and I think Cassius Howell can. Every time we talk about him, I bring up the one word that comes to mind when I watched him, which is playmaker. He made a ton of plays last year, a ton of splash plays, a ton of huge plays in huge games.
Yeah.
And I think the Bears might look at the Seahawks formula last year of a lot of guys being able to get after the passer, and they may look to, add a pass rusher and be able to do that themselves. They had the 7th least sacks in the NFL with just 35 last year. That's 2 a game, essentially, and just 4 guys had more than 3 sacks last year. So why not add a 5th guy who can? I think Cassius Howell can be a 5-sack guy. Again, he's in the same category as Ruben Bain of the since 1999. No edge rusher with arms shorter than 31 inches has a double-digit sack season, but he didn't have to be a double-digit sack guy.
Yeah.
He's not being drafted in the top 10
This
like
is
Ruben
true.
Bain potentially could be. So I don't think the concerns really become that much of a factor anymore. I see a playmaker, and to think about that defense last year with all the playmakers that they had and the plays that they made, add Cassius Howell to that, I'm all for it.
Cool.
All right.
What do you got
You
the
are
Bills
up.
doing at 26?
The Buffalo Bills, they signed Gabe Davis, or not Gabe Davis, DJ Moore, sorry. So they traded for him, and then they didn't sign him. They traded for him and took his contract on. I think they're going to have some need defensively, especially at the edge rusher, at linebacker, as well at defensive back. They let Teron Johnson walk, who was one of their best corners on the team. Matt Milano is a free agent. Joey Bosa walked. They allowed the most rushing touchdowns last year, 24. And so I think with a guy who's fallen this far, I think they'll go with Keldrick Falk, edge rusher out of Auburn, who they could move to the defensive interior pretty easily.
Sure.
He doesn't have to be a guy who gets after the passer. This is a team that they didn't struggle at getting after the pass last year. They were in the top half of the league in terms of sacks with Greg Rousseau and Joey Bosa. They they signed Bradley Chubb, an edge rusher, so
Yep.
like they don't need Keldrick Falk to be one of the edge rushers. I think he can be a guy who can fill in the interior. One thing Buffalo was really good at last year was they were really good at stopping the pass, but they weren't really good at stopping the run. They allowed the 5th most rushing yards per game at 136, and like I said, the most rushing touchdowns, 24. So I love Keldrick Falk. He can be a run stopper for them immediately, and he can kind of be another playmaker on that defensive front with Rousseau and Ed Oliver, and now you add Falk, and they help Bradley Chubb. I hated that signing personally. They paid him way too much money.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Keldrick Falk because there's not a receiver that makes sense. They already traded for DJ Moore. I don't think it's a need until the second round anyway.
Sure.
So
I'm lower on Falk than consensus, but I think it's fine at 26.
That is tough that you say that it's a second round need. They don't have a second round pick.
then they can find one at third in the third round.
Yeah, I mean they could probably get
Or Elijah Surratt's probably there.
Yeah, Omar Cooper Jr., Elijah Surratt, one of the two.
Yeah, as Omar Cooper just went 22nd in this mock.
Yeah, something like that. I love it. I love Keldrick Falk. 49ers are my pick at 27. And whoever ends up going here needs to get their tinfoil hat ready with the power station or whatever it's called. I'm pulling up their depth chart.
Can you just wear some rubber? Like a lot of
Yeah,
rubber?
probably. Would rubber boots be all you need, just like so you're not grounded?
We'll have to think. We'll have to look into that. I may reach out to Mike Evans.
Yeah. Ask him what he's planning on wearing for practice. They bring in Mike Evans. They bring in Christian Kirk. Pair those guys with Ricky Pearsall. That's your wide receiver room.
Mega Gig'em, by the way. That's 2 Gig'ems right there.
That is 2 Gig'ems in the same room.
It's probably the 2 best A&M wide receivers of the 21st century. So
I'm not going to try and sit here and think about that because I don't know A&M wide receivers that well.
what about Damian Ratley?
Nothing.
Fair.
Don't know what.
It was just okay.
PFF lists offensive line is need, edges need, and safety is need. They drafted Mikael Williams in the first round last year. They still have Nick Bosa.
Both coming off
Injuries. But I don't know that you want to draft a guy. I think offensive line is a move here. They still have Trent Williams at left tackle, but you either bring in a guy to play right tackle, compete for that job, or you get a guy who's going to take the job from Trent Williams in the next year.
They already have a right tackle in McKivitz, but if they're starting offensive tackles, McKivitz and Trent Williams are an average age of 34.
Yeah. Trent Williams is 37. I just looked birthday, 1988. That's crazy. Because I'm looking at guys who were born in 2000.
Yeah, and McKivitz is 31.
Yeah. I was looking at other birthdays of 2004, 2003. It's like, oh, I'm older than these guys. That's crazy. This guy's born in 1988. Still playing, still kicking, and a very good left tackle. But I think tackle is the move here. And I am going to go. I think I'm going to do it again. I think I'm going to go another guy who gets talk about both spots. I think I'm going to go Caden Proctor.
Shocker.
With the need at both tackle and guard, I like bringing in a guy who could do both. Obviously, you start him at tackle and hope that works because it's a higher positional value. But if it doesn't work, you feel comfortable about him making that slide into offensive guard.
Yeah, shocking. You went with the Bama guy over Clemson guy.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the pick.
I'm actually just praying on his downfall because he's going to be next to the power station now, the substation.
Well, that's just kind of rude.
All right.
Yeah, you're praying he gets injured, basically.
Jack,
Yeesh.
you are picking for the Texans.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I want to do here.
Probably good defense. Why is running back a need?
Because they were bad last year. They had the 4th least yards per attempt, 3.9. The second least rushing touchdowns, 9.
They already traded what,
Shout
a
out 9.
second and a fifth rounder for Dave Montgomery?
Nah, fifth and something else.
Fifth and something else.
Fourth and a 7th.
Fourth and a seventh.
They were looking to target K9, Achan, and Rico Dowdle. All
Free
three of
Achan.
those went, not Devon.
Trevor
Trevor.
Achan.
Not Trevor. Travis.
Travis Achan.
Travis H.M.
Trevor. Now look, with the Vlenkus stuff with the
Does
Mississippi
Trevor
State
still
Bulldogs,
go by ETN?
I don't know what Trevor goes by. We need to ask what Trevor goes by.
I don't know that it matters because I don't know that he's ever going to be as high profile as Travis.
I don't know. He's a Panthers running back. They could
He could
be
pop.
top 5 in
They
the
could
league.
pop- yeah, he could be
or
top
they could
5.
pop. It's one
Yeah.
of the two. They'll either pop and be great,
Yeah.
or they already are top 5 in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Where are you going? What are you thinking with the with
Well,
the
I wanted
Texans?
Proctor.
Yeah.
Just because
I did too.
to put him at guard, honestly. And then I was looking because I wanted to say the Texans have really kind of shuffled the offensive line, and I wanted to say one of their tackles has experience playing guard. So then I was like, okay, maybe I'll take Blake Miller and kick one of the tackles into guard, but I couldn't confirm that about either Ursery or the
Braden Smith.
or Braden Smith having guard experience.
Mm-hmm.
So since I can't confirm that, I'm going to stay away from that.
Okay.
But then it gets really dicey because it's like, do I go interior defensive line, not a position they prioritized? I don't love a running back in this spot. I'll go Caleb Banks and just say they finally take a swing
I
on
like it.
potential and upside in the middle of that defensive line. And if that hits, boy, is that scary.
Yeah. And JP, there is a Caleb Banks first defensive tackle taken, so that's big for your
Oh, that's huge. It is huge.
whatever. What do we call it? The auction, the
Yeah, your
the draft
auction.
Draft auction.
Your draft predictions auction. It would have been great if Sanders could have taken Blake Miller as well, because that would have knocked out 2 for you. But
It would have. I would have went with Blake Miller at 27 as well, by the way. Both their starting defensive tackles walked in free agency. Sheldon Rankins and Tim Settle. So I do think
Sheldon Rankins.
he signed with the Browns, if I'm not mistaken.
I-
But I've already had one wrong.
Our lad still has him on the Texans.
Oh,
Let's
brother.
find out.
I need to.
I'll look it up. You ramble. I'll look it up.
Okay. Well, I assume that. I
well,
did
Tim
give.
Settle definitely left because he's
Yeah.
a commander. He's
Tim
back
Set-
with the Commanders.
This is true.
So
I'm fine with Caleb Banks, and I do think defensive interior is a good pick there. I think they did a ton with their offensive line already. That you could draft another offensive lineman. I'm fine with it. A lot of the organization will be.
Bad news. He re-signed with the Texans.
Bro, why do I have he signed with the Browns? This is insane, bro.
Yeah, re-signed 2-year contract that includes $12 million guaranteed.
Heard. Re-signed is in the notes. I'll
That's
never
big.
make that mistake again.
But now you pair Caleb Banks with Sheldon Rankins.
Boo, where's Tommy Togiai gonna play?
It's a
But
good-
no,
great
Caleb
question.
Banks is a good pick, and why not add another freak to the defense? The rich get richer. They already signed Reed Blankenship. I'm here for it. Their offense, what they have to figure out is, really just health in the receiver room.
Yeah.
It's been a big thing. Christian Kirk was hurt. Tank Dell, of course, missed the whole season. Stephon Diggs 2 years ago ended up getting hurt. Nico Collins has missed time. Yeah, the two receivers didn't pop, but they weren't expected to be huge pops. They're both second-round picks. So I think the offense will figure it out. Their defense, why not add another piece? I'm fine with it. And that brings us to the Kansas City Chiefs at 29. And for the Kansas City Chiefs at 29, they already drafted Mansour Delane earlier. Avion Terrell makes a ton of sense, but I think they're going to go with some kind of pass rusher with the way the draft has fallen tonight. Had the draft not fallen this way, I do think receiver makes a ton of sense for them. But last year, Chris Jones was their leading sacker, and he only had 7 sacks. They were also I think there were 5 different teams that were tied 7th for the least sacks last year with 35. And so they need an edge rusher, and I think they'll go with the edge rusher of T.J. Parker from the Clemson Tigers. I also wouldn't hate Zion Young, and I wouldn't even hate R. Mason Thomas from Missouri and from Oklahoma, respectfully.
Yep.
But a Clemson Tiger fan, so I'm going to take a Clemson Tiger. I'm going to take T.J. Parker and put him on the edge for the Kansas City Chiefs pairing with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones
I'm good with it.
Yep.
and Nunez Roches. I think he's still on the team.
I hope he is.
I do too.
Does not look like it.
Okay.
Dang. So, R.I.P.
I am picking for the Dolphins.
Yes, you are.
My final pick of the draft, actually.
It is, yeah.
And with my final pick in the draft, you know who I have to draft because he's got to go in the first round every time. Imagine. No, I will not be taking Taylor Green at 30th overall with the Miami Dolphins pick. Who did you had their first pick?
Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson. Okay, so wide receiver, we already feel is sorted. So I feel like Avion Terrell just kind of falls into their laps, and I think that's going to be the pick here.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you trade. Well, hold up. Sorry, I pull up their roster because I had the Chiefs roster up for JP's pick. You lose a piece in the secondary, Minkah Fitzpatrick, but your current starters are Darnell Baker Jr., who you brought in from Tennessee in free agency, and Storm Duck. And Storm Duck is not an NFL starter. So I think secondary is the move here. Now on offense, you have your running back, you have your wide receiver, you've got a couple guys behind him, you got your quarterback. You got to figure out offensive line, but hopefully that comes together. You brought in the right guard. So I think, secondary Avion Terrell is the move. And that completes my mock draft.
It would be a shocker of a pick for me because the Packers, and this is where Jeff Hafley came from, and John Eric Sullivan, their GM, have it drafted a cornerback higher than the 7th round in each of the past 4 drafts. So them coming over from the Packers to the Dolphins.
Was he there when they picked Alexander?
I don't know, to be honest. But the last 4 years, they have not drafted a corner 7th round
That
or
means
higher.
they're due.
So maybe they are due. But it
what
also may just
year-
not be something they do.
What year was that 19?
Maybe.
The Jair
I can't
Alexander?
remember off the top of my head. So it would be a kind of a surprise pick for the notion that the Packers have done the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Jair Alexander was drafted in 2018. The new head coach is Jeff Hafley, you said?
Yeah.
Jeff Hafley was he there in the
No, he wasn't. He was. He may have been on the staff, but he was the defensive coordinator only the past 2 years.
Okay. He definitely was no, I don't even know if he was in coaching at the time. Yes, he was. That's just he wasn't a head coach. In 2018, he was the defensive backs coach in San Francisco. So he phoned up and was like, "Hey, you should take this Jair Alexander kid in the first round. He's really good." Turned out to be good for a couple of years. So that's how that panned out. No, I still like the pick though for the Dolphins. Your history says one thing, JP, but you know what else history says? That no one had won the AFC West for the last 10 years.
They allowed a league high completion percentage last year, 72%. So.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. I like the pick a lot. This brings me to my last pick, and it's the Super Bowl losers, the New England Patriots. Runner-ups.
First losers.
They've got a lot of buzz for wide receiver here, but with the recent Romeo Doubs signing, there's even still some smoke of they're still trying to get A.J. Brown on top of that as well.
Stephon Diggs returning is also a possibility.
True.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but a possibility.
With the way the offensive line performed down the stretch, I really like the idea of bringing in a tackle here, and we can help JP out with his predictions.
3 straight Tigers.
Blake Miller, can make a third straight Tiger. 56 career, starts in college across 4 years, so pretty experienced. Just a solid piece. I think he could come in and step in and play and start right away if needed. So
Which prediction was that JP hits on if that happens?
Blake
That he
Miller's
goes in
a
the first
round
round.
pick.
Was he the guy that was outside of the top 50?
No.
Okay.
it was just I think a round 3 prediction, and one that he put a ton of money onto because he
Correct.
just had a lot to spend.
Yep. And then JP. Actually, so if you're doing this, you move in last year's first round pick, 4th overall.
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell thing. I just wanted to say Will Howard.
It's
Will
a
Campbell,
thought.
3rd overall pick.
3rd overall pick. Thank you. You moving him to guard?
Yeah, very likely. It's a thought. I mean,
But hasn't Vrabel already said that he's
Yeah.
going to play tackle next year?
Vrabel has committed Will Campbell to left tackle next year.
coaches lie.
Yeah.
This is also true. They did let Garrett Bradbury, their center, go.
Just move Campbell to center then.
But if you include the
Can
postseason,
he reach to hike the ball through his legs?
yes,
Like, is that an issue?
He
Are they-
doesn't. He doesn't have center questions. If you include the postseason, May was sacked more than any quarterback last year, which was 62 times or 68 times. Sorry, he led the league in scrambles with 62. So I don't hate the pick whatsoever.
I'm not saying Will Campbell can't be a good offensive tackle in the league, and that he didn't have like an okay rookie season. But it wasn't great, and there are questions. And with the way Drake May played, it's kind of like here and now. Let's go win this thing. So like, why wait around and hope that it works out for Will Campbell on the as a tackle, and not just bring in some assurance and let's get this thing rolling? Because I think the worst thing that happens is you run it back and you have the same issues. And then it just feels like a wasted year if that is what comes back to really bite you again.
I mean, Ben Simmons is just gonna say, not Ben Simmons, Bill Simmons.
I was like,
I don't know what Ben's gonna say,
yeah, I'll have to ask him, if he's not fishing.
Yeah, we need his input on that.
but Bill Simmons is just gonna say, we drafted 2 rookies last year. We said all throughout the playoffs and in the Super Bowl preview and in the Super Bowl that the 2 rookies on the left side of the offensive line are going to be a problem. We need to address it. And then we draft another rookie offensive lineman.
That is fair.
Doesn't make sense. I think there's going to be hesitancy there for a lot of Patriots fans, although it may be the right move for the organization.
Patriots do tend to make the right moves frequently.
Not always in the draft. They have drafted guys like
Shout out Cole
Cole
Strange.
Strange
Yeah.
and N'Keal Harry,
True.
among others.
They also draft, but that's old era Patriots.
True.
New era, Drake May, home run. Will Campbell, TBD.
Bake
And-
miss.
that's all we really know about
S
them.
tier.
Number 32.
32, the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions, who let K9 walk, literally and figuratively, because it's his name, and
That's
because
what
he
he
went to
does.
the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's a need at running back, and they did not address it in free agency, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head. And Charbonnet's tore his ACL in the divisional round of the playoffs. And so, like, running back is a true need, but I just don't see them drafting Jatarian Bryce with the way that they are living their life. I think that they're going to go with someone defensively, and I'm going to draft a 4th straight Tiger. I'm going to take Peter Woods.
Wow.
I think of that defensive line, as good as it was last year, Leonard Williams will be 32. Nwosu will be 30. DeMarcus Lawrence will be 34, and Jerron Reed will be 34 as well.
And they've proven they just like bodies to
Yeah.
throw at you on the defensive line. And so just add more depth.
They
You
allowed,
lost a couple pieces from that group. So.
yeah, Boye Mafe walked and went to the Cincinnati Bengals. So adding another, he's not a pass rusher. He's going to be a true defensive tackle. But Leonard Williams, a defensive tackle for them, as well as Jerron Reed, are 32 and 34. So Peter Woods to go along with Byron Murphy in the future, I think, will keep that defensive line young, youthful, and really good. And he's a guy who this past college football season was a first round pick for sure and a top 10 pick and a lot of mocks. So this is a guy who had the talent. He just didn't have the production this past season because Clemson was terrible.
Yeah, I feel like it's very fitting that all 4 Clemson Tigers go at the end of the first round, where it's kind of like,
Yep.
yeah, I guess y'all were pretty good,
Yeah.
but like we were left wanting a lot more at the end of the day, and that's how they all end up at the end of the first round.